Wait,
No, I have it.
minutes and just like
HTTP.
I have it muted so I can hear you guys a little better.
Yeah, I got it too.
you know you can just turn the bot down.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
It's at around 0%.
All right, I'll just mute the bot too. With our guest Groovy, no, eventually asked in the podcast, what do you think Groovy unmuted?
What?
During the podcast, eventually at some point, ask, what do you think Groovy, and then unmute the bot.
Oh my
And it'll
god.
just like start playing free dance. It'll be like perfect.
Okay, well we're live,
Oh.
Oh.
Do I gotta give the intro again?
Sure. Go ahead.
I'm asking like, do you guys want to give the intro? I don't want to give it like every time.
It's been 3 weeks. Go ahead, give the intro.
All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another week of Final Life Fridays. We were gone for a little while. I don't even know why we were gone, to be honest.
Because you,
we just didn't do it.
I took one weekend to do The Last of Us Part 2, and you guys didn't do it,
and then we just kind of like, it's kind of like not going to the gym. You just stop going, and then one day you're like,
exactly.
I should go to the gym.
Oh shit!
But instead, we're doing the podcast.
Oh
it's the same concept.
Oh shit!
What happened?
I made it really. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Oh
what are you doing?
Oh,
all right.
Shit.
We don't have a guest for this week, so we're joined by Groovy Bot. Y'all know. But yeah, so.
Groovy Bot, go ahead. Tell all the people what's up. Go ahead. Tell all the people what's up.
And let them know. That's real shit. What a homie.
All right, good.
Shout out Groovy Bot, bro. Shout out Groovy Bot. But yeah, for this week, we didn't really have a guest speaker, and well, a lot of people lately have just been going through some tough stuff right now. I'm not. Are we at liberty to talk about?
No.
It was on social media.
No.
Probably not.
I'm not sure anybody. I'm not sure anybody in this Discord knows what you're talking about. So no.
Well, I mean, one of them was on social media, like in general, but we're just not talking about it. All right. So people are just going through some tough stuff right now.
He said I posted it. He said he posted it. I think it's okay to mention it. I mean, I guess. Go ahead.
I guess I want to reach out to him, right? Okay. Well, so a big thing that happened this weekend was, you guys know Peter
Flanders, Luat.
Yeah, Flanders, Luat. You guys know my many names. Dear friend of ours. His mother passed away in a severe car accident. This morning she was on life support starting yesterday. And
what's up, Dope Maker? And everybody else in the chat. I just said Dope Maker
because he never shows up. Thanks for tuning in, by the way. Sorry, it's a little more of a somber episode, but yeah. So that happened, and I was thinking, and we were all talking, and we decided that we should have more of a targeted podcast this week, less so about open discussion, and more so just about talking about when people go through traumatic events and difficult times, and how to be a good support group for these people. So I mean, especially with this happening very close to home to us. Peter's a really good friend of ours. We've known him for what? I don't even know how many years. I've known him forever.
Couple of years, 5 years, yeah. 4 or 5 years.
I've known that guy. I've literally watched that kid grow up. So at this point, right? It feels like he's like completely grown up in front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, it's tough, and being a support group, it's difficult. So we just wanted to have an open discussion about that. So you guys want to take it away? You just talk about being a safety net and support group for people in tough times. Make it the chat open too.
Well, that's super broad, so it's hard to know where to start. But I guess
it's a hard topic in general, right? It's just kind of hard to talk about.
Yeah. As far as support groups go, or I want to say that I guess having good friends is high key crucial in situations like this. Yeah, normalize checking on your homies off, because Peter came and told us, and immediately it was support. You know what I'm saying? We were all supporting him off jump, and you would think you would do that for anybody, because this is a serious moment for them. But the fact that I feel that he could come to us and tell us about this kind of stuff is proof that thereof that he was oh, these guys care about me. They care about my well-being. I'm gonna let them know what's going on. This is some tough times. And the support that we gave, I would like to think helped. It sounds like Peter's handling this really maturely, which is really impressive. But
Yeah, honestly, guys, shout outs to Peter for his emotional strength and his faith in times of adversity. For him and both his sister and the rest of their family, they're amazingly strong people, and that doesn't mean they don't need you guys' support. By the way, so make sure you guys check out on him. Just shoot him a message or something. Let him know that you guys are and your condolences and you're there for him. He would really.
I mean,
sure
Jonah, you can talk in the chat too, dude. For real, like if you want, that's what the whole point of this is. It's not just us talking podcast. It's like a back and forth. You know what I'm saying? And
wait. Do you want to get in the call?
He said he doesn't have a. He doesn't have. First of all, don't bring Jonah in here with his his motherfucking Doritos bag mic.
I know. I thought that was Peter. I was like, who's Jonah?
Nah, that's Jonah with his Doritos bag ass mic.
Oh no! Don't let him. We don't need that under the sea action in this. No, thank you.
Hey, shout outs to Jonah the homie though. But talk in the what's it called? Because I'm not. I mean, I'm trying to hear what you have to say. I can read it just fine.
No, we don't need your base boosted ass in here. No, thank you.
But base boosted ass. You mean Rango Jr. Anyway. So are we talking about times that we've experienced this kind of thing? Is that what you want? Because I can talk about a time.
I think it's just about just how to be a better support group, right? And if you guys or anybody you know has had experience with this, so ways to do this better in the future.
Well, I'll go ahead and talk because my homie last year in just like the end of March, he took his life, right? And so
R.I.P. Big Chando.
What Chando? But so I took it really hard for a couple of days, right? As anyone would. And at least this is a different situation than losing your mother in like a car crash or anything like that. I think I'm not the person who has the closest experience to Peter in that regard. I won't name drop them, but they know who they are. But like in that particular, why am I wearing my mask? Hey,
hey, bro, you can catch it to the mic. You ain't know, bro. That digital one.
Hey, stay safe, bro. Stay safe. You know what I'm saying? Wear a mask. Anyway, yeah, I lost one of my best friends in like just before April started last year, and I took it very hard. Like you spend, I don't know. I'm just gonna speak from personal experience for myself, but I spent a lot of time blaming myself, right? Because the night of, I guess I'd say, because it was like early morning that he did it. The night of, I think I might have been the last person to see him. And because he was falling asleep on my couch, and I was like, dude, you got to get up. You got to go home. And he's like, can I just stay here? And I'm like, nah, bro, just go home. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll come by your place tomorrow. And so, like, for the longest time, I was like, what if I just let him stay here? What if I hadn't beat him up, like, or made him get up? What if I hadn't forced him out? So beating yourself up is not at all how you should handle that kind of thing. But you just tend to do it, right? And I think what carried me through, what helped me, besides the fact talking with somebody who's really intelligent, I think what got me through that was the group of people I know, like my brothers, the DOA. I would talk to these guys, and I guess I was trying to be the emotional rock, right? I was trying too hard to let myself be the guy that they could lean on. So through that, it kind of got me past grief. That and the fact that at one point, I think I just sat there and I thought, like, dude, I'm pretty sure Chandler wouldn't want me moping like this. He wouldn't want me down in the dumps. Like, this dude always used to give me shit whenever I was upset or whenever I was mad or down. So I was like, I mean, I can't be upset because he'd be on my ass if I was, right? And so I think that, I don't know, it sounds like from what Peter's heard, stories and stuff, his mom was on the same boat. She wanted the best for him, even though he didn't think it at the time, right? She wanted the best for him. He got she really cared about him, his sister. So it seems that because he's taking this maturely, I guess because that helped especially, the fact that he was able to say, okay, well, she cared the whole time. She actually cared. So it's like, she wouldn't want me like this. And having a support group helps for sure. Like the fact that he could come to us, the fact that I could go to the DOA. I'm going to read Ben's thing real quick. So the thing I worry about is that I lost my stepmom the exact same way as Peter 2.5 years ago. I didn't feel sad for a while. I just felt kind of blank for a couple weeks, and then it kind of just hit me. Yeah, that's a very it's It's a very normal response to grief.
Dissociation is pretty common. And when your experience with severe emotional trauma, loss of a loved one, anything really,
Mm.
dissociation happens all the time. Uh, you may just feel like detached from society, from people you know, for short periods of time, and then
Yeah.
you just don't. Things don't really stick. You
You
don't
see-
feel anything. You're just kind of numbly going through routine.
Mhm.
Though I do want, I guess, I'll add later.
Did you see
So
what
I'll say
did you see
later.
what Dope Maker said? He said I lost my
Yeah,
grandpa a
I
few
did.
weeks ago, or a few years ago, and the same thing happened to me. I loved him a lot, and I couldn't understand why I couldn't cry for him, even when he was right in front of me, and I knew he passed away. Before I finish, that resonates with me a lot because sometimes I'll hear bad news, and like I feel like I'm grieving wrong. Like Fracture just said, there's no right way to grieve, but like it's a it's just a thing that sits in my head. Like, why am I not upset? Why can't I feel like bad? Why can't I feel sad? You know what I'm saying? He said, looking back now, I just couldn't process it in my mind at the time. It was the first real loss in my family, to me at least. And then a week later at the funeral, it finally hit me that my grandpa was gone. I couldn't stop crying. Yeah, yeah. It sometimes it just takes a while for it to hit. It really does. And like you feel composed. I guess you're like, this is just it. Like it's like this is not that this is fine, but this is like normal. Why am I not upset? Why am I not crying? And then sometimes all it takes is that little thing, right? Straw that broke the camel's back. That little thing to set you off, and once it sets you off, you hit that point where you finally start to feel again. I think that like the first time you start crying, or like the first time you break down, is like when you start to feel again, because you're like, I cried that night, but I was numb for a couple of days, and I honestly was lucky because I know guys who were numb for like months afterwards. I was numb for only a couple of days. I managed to deal with it a lot better than other people did. So I'm not a
It
great,
just hits you, right?
huh?
It just hits you, right? Eventually, it's like hitting a wall, and then suddenly, like it just all comes out.
Yeah, I guess it hit me like the next day. I don't feel like I was numb for a good minute, but like I didn't deal with it. So I don't think I'm the best example. But yeah, I agree as well. Didn't even cry at your dad's funeral. Yeah, sometimes it just doesn't hit, man. And it's not like there's anything wrong with you. I thought there was something wrong with me for a minute, but it's not like anything wrong with you. It's just how it is sometimes. All right, you guys can go ahead because I already said my piece.
You want to go first, Ivan, or?
Sure. So, I kind of want to approach this a few different ways, because this kind of took a little bit of a turn about halfway through. But I think, see, it's kind of hard because like I don't really know too much about how to like professionally help somebody in this situation. And the funny thing is, the more I learn, the less I actually feel like I can do it for somebody. So I think for the common person, I would just say just listen to them. Like listen to what they have to say, how they have to, or what kind of things they're feeling, and ask them for details because I think that's important. Like they need to know um, what they're kind of going through mentally, and sometimes they may not know until you kind of provoke it. So like when they say
Mhm.
like, I've been feeling really sad, and then you might want to say something
why? Like, what's got you down?
so
Yeah.
just ask questions, ask
Mhm.
for details, and it might seem like all you're doing is asking questions, but I think you're probably doing a lot more than you think you are.
It definitely helps just to go off that real quick because
You-
I didn't like talking through how I felt was so crucial, so crucial. And I think it's what because like you want to keep that stuff to yourself, right? I don't want to burden anybody. I don't even want to talk about it, but talking helps, man. You're absolutely right. I agree.
Would you say, Ivan, that is that how to show somebody you care? Is to just show interest
Listen, yeah,
uh,
listening.
and letting them move. What's it called? Use you as a vessel to understand and cope on their own. Is that the best way to show that you care from your experience, or one of the most effective ways? I guess not the best. Nobody knows the best.
I would say so, yeah, because like even I always tell people, I mean, people that I would do this for anyway. Like I would say, if you need anything, just let me know, and I don't really take it personal if they don't message me. And sometimes I just don't know what to say. and that's the thing too, because I haven't really lost anybody, thankfully, yet. Um, so I don't really know what to say, and I think most people might not either. And the truth is, there probably is nothing you can say to like magically make them feel better. So that kind of circles back to, just listen to them, and yeah, show them that you care, show them that you're available, um, and just do whatever's in your power to help out any way you can.
Yeah.
I want to just quickly touch on what Maker said, where he said, yeah, I thought something was wrong with me too. Goes to the point where I even started to question whether it was my grandpa or not. I realized how foolish that was. It's not foolish. You're in an emotionally turbulent, place, right? You're not, even if you think you're thinking clearly, you're not processing stuff the same way. And you have these pre-societal notions. You've been sensitized by the media to act certain ways in certain situations. Whether you want to believe it or not, your whole life you're exposed to the way people are supposed to do things. The Hollywood way everybody does things. The Hollywood way you grieve, Hollywood way you've been married, Hollywood way you love, et cetera, right? So you get put in these situations, and you don't act like the screen does, right? So you just assume, because that's what you were raised on, that's how you were socialized, that something's wrong with you. And the truth is that human behavior is this massive, spectrum of things that oftentimes don't make sense till you're either have this situation explained to you or you're in the situation. And this is one of the not everybody just sits there and bawls their eyes out and goes like, why, or like, I love them so much. It's not how that works. And friend, I'm glad that you guys in chat and my friends here, Namdi and such, that you guys have grown past. You've gotten past that phase, and you didn't beat yourself up over it, because a lot of people they really let it get to them
for a while. Yeah, you beat yourself up for a long time.
So just one thing real quick. Since we've kind of been talking about different ways that people grieve, I think it is important to check on them in terms, like, look for like small changes in their behavior. Like, you want to look for maybe some substance abuse problems, because that can happen. Like the loss of a loved one can be like a precipitating event that can kind of trigger a disorder. So you want to make sure that they're not, like if they're going to bars more often, maybe, or like if they show any kind of suspicious behavior like that, just make sure to keep a good eye on them. And that's part of showing that you care. It goes a little bit more beyond just listening to them. You kind of have to keep an eye out for them and make sure they're not kind of digging themselves into a deeper hole. Yes, and making it harder than it needs to be.
Speaking on that, one of my friends was just like that. He started like drinking way more, and then like he would get drunk, and I mean that was kind of what we did, but he would do it like way more often. And then like some nights he'd be like, "Dude, I just want to see Chandler. I just want to see Chandler." And then like he was showing like real strange signs where he'd start like wandering off, and like he was being less considerate towards others. He was being more like, just, I guess, careless with his life. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't matter to him. And I was like, look, dude, and then I had to sit him down one night, and I was like, you understand how awful we felt after Chandler, right? You'd be putting us through the exact same shit if you did this right now. And sometimes, like, with people who are grieving, if they're showing signs and stuff, I don't know if this, like, I'm not a psychologist. I don't know how sound this idea is, but sometimes you got to just sit them down and just talk some shit to them. Like for real, you got to sit people down and like be like, look, this isn't good for you. This isn't good for you. It's like you're hurting me too. Because I don't know about you guys, but my friends, I feel that they would be really upset if they were to hurt us, like us as a group, as a family, right? And so whenever you're doing stuff, like whenever people are showing, or whenever he was showing signs at the very least, let me not speak for everyone, I think he was forgetting, like he was more concerned about how much he missed one of us than he was about how much we would miss him, like the rest of us, if he was going to go along the same path, right? And that's, yeah.
Go ahead. Avalon, come on, bro, really? Said one nice thing about somebody's sequel, come on, man.
He didn't say that. That's my, what's it called? That's my
Yeah, I know, but like really, what's AJ's a cool guy. I don't know.
So Fracture said, by the way, it's fine to ask people if they're feeling suicidal, and that's true. I do remember taking an abnormal psych class, and this is kind of one of those things where it's like it either is or it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't really remember which one, but like asking someone if they feel suicidal doesn't necessarily push them to do it. You know, like it's totally fine to ask.
It's because it shows interest.
Mhm.
Like
it's not going to be like, well, I'm not, but since you asked me, I am, and I'm going to do it now. I don't think it works like that.
Like suicide, if I remember a normal psych, right? There was two, either people who are genuinely suicidal, or people that are using suicide as an out for attention, and they usually pick a method that's not reliable. And it happens all the time where there's people who actually try to commit suicide. Right, these people are in a really, really dark place, and they want out of life. They don't want like the situation because short term that seems like the best option. And then there's people who just are using it as a cry for help, and they'll often pick options that because as this is not in a mean one, right? Don't misinterpret what I'm about to say, but the idea of failing a suicide attempt is actually very difficult. There's very surefire ways to commit suicide. You can leave your car running for 15 minutes in the garage. You can put a pipe on the exhaust in your car and run it. There's very, very. I'm not trying to give anybody ideas. Please don't do that. But
yeah, I was gonna say
there's very, very simple and unfortunately effective ways to commit suicide. So if people choose flashy options, you ever heard stories of people trying to hang themselves with a belt? Because I had an EMS call where someone tried to do that. And a lot of times, these attempts are often cries for help, as opposed to direct attempts on someone's life. And while they can kill a person, often they're done in a reckless, sort of like unsuccessful way, almost on borderline on purpose. Which is, again, this is not saying anything bad about anybody. These people need help too, just as much as people who are actively trying to commit suicide via very effective ways. They just use it as a cry for help. So asking where I'm trying to connect this is when you ask somebody if they're feeling suicidal, one, they answer you truthfully, you can go and, get to the intervention they need. Two, someone who needs help and needs attention could just, open up to you right there. Because now you're giving them the attention they wanted without them having to go through with it. So that's kind of important. When people suffer from mental trauma, mental illness, it's a spectrum. A lot of it is psychological in the way that they have a misinterpretation of what's going on around them. It's called flawed worldview. It's really big in depression. If you guys want to read up about it, because it's kind of it's a simple but complicated concept. But essentially, people think the world works in a way negatively towards them when it doesn't, and it's nonsensical. And there's like it branches off in certain ways and stuff, but sometimes what people need and what therapy does often is it breaks the worldview, where it's like that's not how and they use clinical methods. Like they just sit down and tell you it's not how that works. But sometimes a trusted person just sitting down with you and helping just to plant the seed in your head that that's not really what's going on can be a big help.
Yeah,
I feel like I haven't said anything yet though.
I was gonna say, I was actually gonna say, I feel like we're kind of off topic. Although, like, this is something that is good to cover, but it's not the current situation.
Oh, absolutely, Fracture. You do need the attention. That's the point. So they need the attention, but they often, because they don't actually want to die, thank goodness, they choose ways that are actually like, I guess, non-lethal ways to commit suicide. They pick ways that easily fail. They take a bunch of like weak pills or something, or they again try to hang themselves with a belt. Like the belt just breaks or whatever. Like the belt's not gonna hold you up like that or something. And things like that, and they don't actually work.
So to kind of bring it back to on topic, we were talking about how you can be supporting of.
Right. People who are going through this stuff. I mean.
Wait, hold on, real quick. Dope Maker, could you expound on that while we talk about support group or how to be a better support for your?
No. It's not threatening with suicide. It's not what we're talking about. What happens is people see suicide. Certain people who are also mentally ill, they see suicide as as a way for people to care about them, right? There's essentially two main schools of people that commit suicide: people that use it as an escape, and people that use it as a way to draw, to get attention that they need, right? They desperately need as people, because we're all people, we're social animals, right? So yeah. Okay.
Like it's like they would use it. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say like they use it as a means to an end instead of an end in itself.
Exactly.
I think that's probably what you're.
And to end the means, it's a means to an end. That's actually good. Well, you're a smart guy.
All right, but just to bring it back, we were talking about how you can better support those who are in need of that support.
I guess I'll give my 2 cents now.
Go ahead.
So I've had a lot of experience with death. I mean, let's see, my grandfather passed away when I was like 10. When I was like younger, like 9 or 8, my friend's grandfather passed away. My other friend's mom passed away. My mother, whose father was the grandfather I'm talking about, one of her closest friends, her husband was killed in a robbery. Then a couple years later, she committed suicide. And then we had a bunch of joint funerals at my local mosque, like my local community mosque. And then working as an EMT, I had a lot of mortal calls, I guess, in my career. And knowing people that go through the process, it's very difficult to put into words good advice. What I usually, for people that recover from these situations, right? I'm gonna word what I'm gonna say carefully here. What tends to be the make or break for when because someone dies, you feel grief, you get over grief, you accept life without them and you move on. But true closure, from my personal experience, for these events comes from accepting the idea of death, right? So death, as much as we don't like to think about it, it's inevitability. All living things die, no matter what you are, right? Any living thing on the planet Earth dies eventually. But as human beings, we are able, because animals know that they can die, right? But as human beings, we are the only species on the planet that rationalizes it on the level we do, where we can think about it constantly. We can we can imagine the idea. We're sentient beings. So usually, as humans, we don't like to think about things that make us feel uncomfortable. We often push things to the side, or if it's difficult for us to rationalize, we drop it. We just don't worry about it, and we just live our lives. It's all the time. So everything, not just that. Things that make us uncomfortable, we just put our guardrails up and we keep going forward because that makes us feel better. And whenever something happens to you, whether it is you personally, someone around you, how many people have you seen that change, and not for the good or worse, just saying in general, people change after traumatic accident or a near-death experience, right? Because it reminds you of the concept, and then they live their life differently. So when it comes to getting over this, I guess as a person, right, as an individual, you have to, if you ever find yourself in the situation later on in life, and this is independent of the grief process. I don't really have advice for that. That's just, everybody has to take their time. To really move forward from this event, you have to accept and live with the inevitability of the concept, right? That one day every person dies. It may sound tragic. It is. It may sound, awful. You can say it is. But once you understand and live with the inevitability, your view on life itself is different, right? Because once you review it as a chaotic inevitability, you don't really live in fear of death. You live in preparation of death, if that makes sense. And it's getting kind of philosophical. I apologize. But that's really how I kind of view it, and that's how people I know got past the wall. I'm gonna call it the wall, right? The wall of understanding. That's once you move past that wall, is once you live with the idea of the unescapable inevitability, you grow in a way as a person that makes you live not for tomorrow, but to live the best today that you can. And the best today that you can is different from person to person, but as long as you keep living your best today, you eventually realize you lived depending on how many todays you get, you realize you lived a really good life. And that's usually how I see people move past this, and how I've moved past it and stuff, is that you live your best today over and over again. And when you finally hit the net sum of however long you had, nobody knows. Some people go before they can even understand they were alive. Those poor infants or whatever, right? Some people go 100 years afterwards. They live a long life, just saw their their great grandkids or whatever. You never know what hand you get dealt, right? Those guys, when you hit when you hit your time, uh, the idea that you lived your best day every day. I mean, and when that you knew it was coming. What regret could you have?
Uh,
And I think that's really uh, that's how everybody I know overcame that concept. Is you die living the best day every day.
okay, so real
And
quick.
yeah,
Oh, my bad. Go ahead. Finish.
no, that's what I have to say.
Okay, so I was gonna say we're approaching time, but I do want to say that for me personally, what helped me more than anything was remembering the good, because yeah, you deal with death as in like eventuality, right? And it's not something that you can avoid, you can't dodge, like you can't escape. But like
Yeah,
whenever you lose somebody close to you, I've found that dwelling on the good while wistful helps process the fact that they're gone, and you learn to cherish that good that you had. And
you like live.
I try to make the most of my encounters with people I know and people I love because of it.
You
Right?
like live in a way that honors the good they did for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I try
Like
to
your
live
friend was
I
supposed.
try to
Yeah,
live as the person they saw me as and the person they would want me to be.
right. Like let's say they reminded you every day to put down a chocolate or pick up an apple. Every day you see an apple or something, you remember them in a good light. It's like they were the ones that looked out for you and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's really what we leave on this world, right? Is not what we had or what
Hmm.
we looked like or what we did for ourselves. Is what we left for other people. And I
Yeah.
guess living and understanding the good that people did for you, that you cared about, and living in a way that honors the good they did for you is really the best way you can remember them.
Yeah, Jonah, you're gonna see a lot of it's just you're gonna continually be reminded. It's at this point it'll just be about how you can conduct yourself whenever you are reminded. If you choose to remember the good or choose to remember the pain. And it's not like I'm saying just forget like it ever happened, right? It's just that at some point it's gonna keep eating away at you if you don't. If you continue to treat it like it's I'm like losing my train of thought. But you're gonna want to cherishing the good is the best way to deal with loss, I would say, at least in my opinion. And like there is no best way, but that was my way, and I think it's a good way. But it's about time for us to go. I do want to say, normalize checking on your homies, family, friends, because friends and homies are two different things. But like Ben said at the very beginning, normalize checking on people, man, because you never know what people are going through. All that shit you're going through, they're probably doing the same thing, same exact thing. Normalize checking on your people. Normalize making sure that everybody's good. Normalize uh, contacting
Normalize
them,
listening. Yeah, normalize
listening.
listening. Normalize being empathetic. Normalize what's it called? Not judging people until you have all the facts straight.
Hmm.
Plenty of things, normalize being a good person. I guess if we are
Yeah,
gonna put it all in one term.
yeah, I guess, yeah. All
Okay,
right,
so before
hold
we
up.
go, I just want to. I have a quote about like death that might help people or coping with death. That is. It's kind of long. Do we have time
Go
for
for
it?
it. Go for it. Go for
Go,
it.
go, bro, it's a quote, man.
All right. So
It's awful,
this
mate.
is this is an old quote from the Stoics, from the Stoic philosophy, and I honestly think it helps quite a bit. I think it kind of puts things into perspective, and it might sound a little weird out of context, but I might explain it a little bit. But anyway, um, so what then is the proper training for this? This being death. In the first place, the principal and most important thing, on the very threshold, so to speak, is that when you are attached to a thing, not a thing which cannot be taken away, but anything like a water jug or a crystal cup, you should bear in mind what it is, that you may not be disturbed when it is broken. So should it be with persons. If you kiss your child or brother or friend, you must remind yourself that you love a mortal, and nothing that you love is your very own. It is given to you for the moment, not forever nor inseparably, but like a fig or a bunch of grapes at the appointed season of the year. And if you long for it in the winter, you are a fool. So too, if you long for your son or your friend, when it is not given to you to have him, know that you are longing for a fig in the winter time. So, I guess the point of that is that these people that are like in our lives we rent them in a way. You know, they don't belong to us, and we're not entitled to them. And we should kind of look at them with a similar viewpoint that we would for like material possessions. Not to say that we shouldn't care for them, but just we need to be reminded of how ephemeral they are in the grand scheme of things. So, you know, cherish them, but don't be surprised if and when they leave you at some point, you know. So, I don't know,
Yeah.
I figured that might help. But
Yeah.
That was really good, man.
That was a high school English lit ass quote right there. It was a good one though. Good one.
We would have to write a 5-paragraph essay on that, Jordan.
Yeah, bro. Be like, write 100 words on what that meant to
Yeah,
you,
TP cast and all that,
On what
all
you-
that shit, bro.
on what you think that the author was trying to convey. But, you know, all right. Good ass quote to end it on. Anyway, appreciate everybody who comes through. Hope this helped.
Yep. If you guys ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah,
to
don't
us
hesitate.
Or anybody in the circle that you know.
Yoshi.
You need to talk to someone.
Yoshi.
You know.
yeah,
Yo,
maybe make things a little better.
Yeah, make you smile on everybody's face. What a beautiful dog.
The Yosh man. But yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, if anybody, if you ever need anything from, like, if you ever need anything, you ever need to talk about anything, we're available. Make sure you hit us up. Make sure you hit somebody up, right? Because that, like, we want nothing more than you to feel validated, you to feel support whenever you need it. So
Yep.
that's all we came to say today.
Thank you guys for tuning in.
Yep.
You know, we really appreciate you guys. And send all the love you guys have to Peter.
Yeah, for real. Luat, let him know. Much love from us, much love to him.
Yeah.
But appreciate you guys. And
Ciao, guys.
take it out. Take it out. Take it easy. Ugh.